So I was on a phone call the other day with sales executives with a really large financial services firm, and he said, Mike, given all the people you've interviewed, all the executives you've met, all the training programs you've done and such, what is the number one piece of advice you would give to me or virtually any sales organization? So I thought about it for a moment and I said, I think what it really boils down to is virtually every sales organization is going to improve much faster, which is what sales managers and executives want. They want their sales organizations to improve and increase sales faster. But they're going to do that if they get into a good, healthy, consistent, repetitive practice routine. And he asked me, he said, well, what do you mean by a practice routine? And I said, that's exactly it right there. Most sales organizations, meaning the executives and sales managers, don't really even understand what it means to practice regularly. If I was to go to a sports coach or a music coach or a military trainer or such, and I said, what is your practice routine with your team? They could instantly explain it to me in detail. In fact, if I just went to a coach of a youth soccer team, they could explain what their practice routine is. But when I ask sales managers and sales executives to explain the practice routine they have set up for their sales teams, they typically can't explain it, or they find the question kind of confusing, or sometimes they'll say, well, you should go talk to the training department or the people, the trainers that are assigned with that task. But typically trainers and training departments create events, training events, at sales kickoffs or for special kind of events to teach the team how to work with CRM or how to learn some new sales process and such. And it's usually a day or two and then the event is over. But that's not really a practice routine. A practice routine is something that happens every week between the sales manager or sales coach and their salespeople. It's working on the basic fundamental selling skills like how to start a sales call with an effective agenda, how to ask good open-ended questions, listen, understand, ask those follow-up questions that lead to a great summary. And then that summary is used as a pivot to talk about a solution that's tailored, how to close for the next step or close for the sale. So those are the selling skills that need practice. And most salespeople get into some really sloppy habits if they don't have practice. And this is true with all of us. The bad sales habits that salespeople get into are easily corrected with practice. Bad habits like talking too much, taking too long to get to the point, using too many closed-ended questions, inability to ask the kind of questions that lead to real opportunity, poor ability to use summaries. They can't communicate value via an effective differentiating factor that's clear, concise, and to the point. They can't tailor their communication. And they get into really bad habits when it comes to closing. So too many sales calls end without clear action steps at the end. These are the kinds of skills that really generate results. So if I could give you one piece of advice, it's this. Get yourself and your sales managers into a routine of practicing with your sales team on a weekly basis. Start measuring it and reporting it and working through the basic selling skills week after week after week, the same way a sports team might approach it, so that your team gets steady practice, is exposed to the way top performers sell, and they're held accountable to actually verbalizing the selling skills on a weekly basis. That is going to rapidly accelerate the progress of your sales team the same way that sports coaches accelerate the progress of their sports team. That's my advice for the day.